The silent witness, Valeria's encounter. Valeria's breath hitched as the whispers grew louder, circling her like unseen specters. The darkness in the room thickened, pressing against her skin like a suffocating shroud. She forced herself to move, to reach for the journal with her name on it, but her fingers trembled uncontrollably. A sudden thud from upstairs made her jerk back, her heart leaping into her throat. Someone, or something, was here with her. The realization sent a jolt of fear through her, freezing her in place. She clutched the diary against her chest, its leather cover cool and reassuring against her skin. Darting toward the door, she yanked at the handle with all her strength. It wouldn't budge. The air in the room grew heavier, charged with an invisible force that sent a chill down her spine. Another noise, this time closer, a slow, deliberate shuffle like footsteps on old wooden floors. The sound reverberated through the silent house, each step echoing ominously. Then a voice, low, almost guttural. "You were warned." Valeria turned, pressing her back against the door. Her mind raced. Fight or flee? The oppressive darkness seemed to close in, and her breath came in shallow gasps. A shadow moved at the top of the stairs, and for the first time she saw him, a tall, imposing figure, his face obscured by the dim light. His eyes glinted with a malevolent gleam, and a sinister smile curled at the corners of his lips. "Who are you?" Valeria's voice wavered, a mix of defiance and terror. She could feel the weight of his gaze like a predator sizing up its prey. The figure descended the stairs slowly, each step measured and deliberate. "It doesn't matter who I am," he replied, his voice dripping with menace. "What matters is that you leave this place. Now." Valeria's mind raced, searching for a way out. She couldn't stay here, trapped with this looming threat. Her eyes darted around the room, seeking any means of escape. The figure reached the bottom of the stairs, his presence filling the room with an almost palpable dread. "You think you can uncover the truth," he sneered, "but some truths are best left buried." With a surge of determination, Valeria pushed off the door and bolted toward the nearest window. She smashed the glass with the journal, the sound shattering the oppressive silence. Ignoring the shards that cut into her skin, she climbed through the broken window, her heart pounding with adrenaline. Landing on the cold, damp ground outside, Valeria glanced back at the house. The figure stood in the window, watching her with a chilling intensity. She didn't wait to see what he would do next. She turned and ran, the fear propelling her forward. As she fled into the night, the whispers seemed to follow her, a haunting reminder of the danger she had escaped. But she knew she couldn't run forever. She had to find answers, to uncover the truth about Lucía Méndez and the sinister forces that sought to keep it hidden. Valeria's mind whirled with questions. Who was the man in the house? How was he connected to Lucia's disappearance? And what terrible secret had Lucía discovered that had led to her untimely fate? The night's chill bit at her skin, but she didn't stop running until she reached the safety of her apartment. Bolting the door behind her, she collapsed onto the floor, her breaths coming in ragged gasps. The journal lay beside her, a heavy reminder of the perils she had faced. Determined to uncover the truth, Valeria knew she couldn't give up. The shadows in the hall had tried to scare her away, but she was more resolute than ever. She would unravel the mystery, piece by piece, and expose the secrets that others had tried so hard to bury. The next morning, Valeria awoke to a new sense of resolve. The events of the previous night had shaken her, but they had also strengthened her determination. She couldn't let fear control her. She had to keep moving forward. She spent the day reviewing the journal, searching for any clues she might have missed. Each entry seemed to reveal more about Lucia's growing paranoia and the dark forces that had been closing in on her. Valeria's heart ached as she read the desperate words, feeling a deep connection to the girl who had faced so much alone. As the sun began to set, Valeria received a call from Detective Javier Morales. He had been following her investigation closely, and his support had been invaluable. "Valeria, I think we've found something," Javier said, his voice urgent. "There's an old warehouse on the outskirts of the city that matches the descriptions in Lucia's journal. It could be where she discovered the evidence. Valeria's pulse quickened. This could be the breakthrough she had been searching for. "I'm on my way," she replied, grabbing her coat and heading out the door. The drive to the warehouse was filled with tension. Valeria couldn't shake the feeling that she was being followed, but she pushed the fear aside, focusing on the task at hand. She arrived at the warehouse and met Javier outside. Together they approached the entrance, the air thick with anticipation. The interior of the warehouse was dark and cavernous, the only light coming from their flashlights. Valeria's footsteps echoed through the space as she followed Javier deeper into the building. The place was filled with old, abandoned equipment, creating an eerie atmosphere. They reached a locked door at the back of the warehouse. Javier produced a set of lock-picking tools and quickly got to work. The door creaked open, revealing a small room lined with filing cabinets and old boxes. Valeria's heart pounded as she stepped inside. She began to sift through the files, her hands trembling with excitement and fear. Each document seemed to unveil another layer of the conspiracy, revealing the extent of Hector Salgado's experiments and the government's involvement. As she dug deeper, Valeria found a hidden compartment in one of the cabinets. Inside was a stack of photographs and a tape recorder. Her breath caught as she recognized Lucia's face in the photos. These were the missing pieces of the puzzle, the evidence that Lucia had risked everything to uncover. Valeria pressed play on the tape recorder, and Lucia's voice filled the room. "If you're hearing this, it means I didn't make it. They will stop at nothing to silence the truth. Please don't let my efforts be in vain. The world needs to know what happened here." Tears welled up in Valeria's eyes as she listened to Lucia's plea. She felt a renewed sense of responsibility to honor Lucia's legacy and ensure that justice was served. The evidence she had found was damning, but it was also dangerous. She had to be careful, but she couldn't turn back now. Valeria and Javier left the warehouse with the evidence in hand, their determination stronger than ever. The journey ahead would be filled with peril, but they were ready to face it together. The shadows that had tried to silence them would not prevail. Back at her apartment, Valeria began to organize the evidence, preparing to share it with the world. She knew that the fight for justice was just beginning, but she was ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. The echoes of Lucia's voice called out for justice, and Valeria was determined to answer that call. The truth would be revealed, and the dark secrets that had been buried for so long would finally come to light.